Good morning, everyone, and happy Thursday. So I want to go over the answers to Tuesday's homework to make sure that you have the correct answers for all of 1 through 12. And then tonight's homework is going to be 13 through 17. That's going to be due tomorrow because I wanted you to make those answers and those connections based upon correct answers. So if we take a look at question 7 and question 8, the story itself is the same. It's talking about a tree and its leaves. But if you noticed in question 7, it said tree, whereas in question 8, it said leaves as the domain. So what that means is whatever we end up with 7 is going to flip when it comes to question number 8. So the way that I've been doing this when we talked about it in the Zoom tutorial is, let's say that we have an oak tree in our yard and we have an elm tree in our yard. And then they drop leaves. And so I have oak leaf number 1, and I have oak leaf number 2, and I have elm leaf number 1, and I have elm leaf number 2. So that means that the oak leaves come from the oak tree, and the elm leaves come from the elm tree. So if we notice, on this right-hand side, we have 1 dot for each situation. So on this side, we have 1. And then that 1 is splitting into many types of leaves over here. And so we have many on the right side. And so remember, many always cancels out the 1, but there's no many to cancel this one out here. So for question number 7, they said the domain is the tree. And so that means that we're starting with the domain of the tree and ending with the range being the leaves. So all my arrows are going this way. And so do we see that the arrows are starting with the 1 and they're finishing with the many? All right, and then I don't have a lot of room there to write for the dot camera. So number 7, I'm going to say that 1 tree has many leaves. Okay. So then the mapping itself doesn't change a whole lot when we go to question number 8. So I still have an oak tree, I still have an elm tree, I still have oak leaf 1 and oak leaf 2, and I still have elm leaf 1 and elm leaf 2. And then these leaves still come from the oak tree, these leaves still come from the elm tree. I still have 1 dot from each tree here, and it's still approaching many on the left-hand side. Okay, but in this case, leaves is our domain. So that means our domain is here and our range is here. And so my arrows are all going from left to right. So that means that my domain has the many and my range has the 1. And so the way we can write that as a story or an explanation is many leaves can come from 1 tree. Okay, so the direction matters, the domain matters. So questions 9 and 10, when we did the Zoom tutorial, we had a little bit of discussion on this. And so I spoke with Mr. Darrell and Ms. Nelson to make sure I really understood what was going on this one. So I'm going to draw a little picture. So it's talking about rational numbers and their position on the real number line. So if we talk about the midpoint between 0 and 1, and I call that midpoint A, what I want you to notice is A could be located at 1/2. A could also be located at 0.5, and A could also be located at the square root of 1/4. Now ultimately, when I simplify these numbers, I get 1/2, which is the midpoint of between 0 and 1. But each number on their own is their own rational number. So coming up here, we said all rational numbers in their position on the real number line. And so this one is talking about the position, and this one is talking about the number. So the position being the domain. So I'm going from domain to range in this picture. So the position on that number line that I drew is A, and the numbers are 1/2, 0.5, and the square root of 1/4. So do we see that A represents each one of these numbers on the number line? Okay, so I have one dot on this side to many dots on this side, and so this would be a one to many situation because one position can represent many rational numbers. So in number 10, this one is saying we want rational numbers as our domain. So we can move that over here to our rational numbers starting here and the position on the number line here. And so I'm still going from right to left. I could have used exactly the same mapping and just gone from right to left instead of from left to right. So in this case, my numbers are 1/2, 0.5, and root 1/4. Recognize there's infinitely many numbers in this set. This is just a small subset of that. And the position on the number line was A, so 1/2 is located at A, 0.5 is located at A, and the square root of 1/4 is located at A. So they all meet at one point on this side, so it's many numbers converging to one point. So my mapping is going to be many to 1. And the explanation for that is going to be each rational number has one dedicated position. On the number line. And then notice that many rational numbers can share the same position. I'm sure there's a way to shorten that up, but with my morning brain right now, that's the best I can come up with. All right, so question number 11 says there's 5 people in a room to their fingerprints. And so on this one, I let you choose what your domain is. Okay, so we could have fingerprint A, fingerprint B, and fingerprint C, and we have person 1, 2, and 3. So one thing that we know about fingerprints is everybody has their own original fingerprint, and every fingerprint belongs to exactly one person. So if fingerprint A belongs to person 1, and B belongs to person 3, and C belongs to person 2, there's no way to get something to belong to more than one thing. Okay? So there's 2 choices. I'll do one in black and one in red. So if I make fingerprints my domain, then that means that I'm going from left to right. And so notice my mapping, I have 1 on this side and 1 on this side. Nothing is going to many, right? So my mapping is 1 to 1. And my reason is each fingerprint, I'll call it FP, belongs to one person. Okay, now if we let the domain be the person, so this would be a separate question, so you would be starting over again. That means that you're starting with the person and finishing with the fingerprints. But in that case, we are still a one-to-one mapping. And then the story or the explanation would be each person has their own unique fingerprint. So you have two choices on that one. All right, so then question number 12, we have students in class and their grade in that class. And so we decided that the domain would be students in the class. So this is students, and this is their grade. So let's say we have students 1, 2, and 3, and then we have the options of A, B, C, D, and F, correct? So that means student 1 could have an A in the class, student 2 could have an A in the class, and student 3 could have a C in the class, and so on and so forth. So if you notice, each student can only have one grade, but many students can have that grade. So student 1 and 2 are many people that have a grade of A in the class. And so since students is our domain, we're going to be going from left to right. And so that's going to be a many to one situation. And so that's going to be, the explanation is many students can have the same grade. Okay, so those were the answers, hopefully, that you got yesterday. If not, let's go ahead and fix those. And so what I would like to do for today is let's get the rest of the worksheet done. I believe it's 13 through 17. And then let's go ahead and turn that in for 10 o'clock tomorrow. And I will have a Zoom tutorial today at 4:30 that's totally voluntary. So I hope to see you there because I miss you guys and I love you all.